Live from New York on a comeback day, on a Saturday. My name's Nathan Harvey. This is the Harvey Hour, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing today on this Saturday afternoon?
It's cold out there today.
It's very, very cold.
Very cold.
But less wind, so hopefully the little bar in my monitor over here will stay green, and we'll be able to get through this stream relatively. It'll keep relatively consistent, my hope would be. But just like I said in my update video, if any of you saw that last night or early this morning, we're gonna get right into the way we would have done the show anyway with our first topic. Yesterday we had some breaking news. Kyrie Irving requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. And he wants to be traded by the deadline, which is, I believe, Thursday, February 9th. And if he does not, if the Nets do not honor his trade request, he said he will not be a Brooklyn Net next year. He will force his way out through the free agency. The report was, a little bit of context was, the Nets tried to get an extension, and that's where it went sour. So I want to ask you, do you think this is a good idea for Kyrie Irving to ask for a trade now, a bad idea, and will he even be traded before the deadline?
I think that I'm not surprised by it. This is him, right? He's all about himself, not about the team. I guess it's all about money too for him. And I don't begrudge him that he wants to make a lot of money. Many athletes, they all want to make a lot of money, and they generally go where the most money is. But he's making a lot of money, and he wants more, I would suspect. And he's on a team that's a winning team, right? The Nets they're a playoff team this year. Kevin Durant's going to come back. They have a big three, right? With who's our third player?
Well, I would consider Ben Simmons a big part of that.
Well,
big
they have three. They have
but technically,
three.
yes.
Technically, he's supposed to be a really good point guard, right?
He's a good defender.
Guard.
He's a good defender.
So, they've had some success this year, but he wants to blow that up and go play for another team. So, I'd say that the best chances for him, probably, there are a lot of teams that won't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Because of the way he is, and the way he is not only disrupting the team, but also some of his personal shenanigans that he's been into, anti-Semitism issues that he got involved in earlier this year, and a bunch of other stuff that he's done over time, which wouldn't, if I were a GM, I wouldn't touch him because of all of the disruption that can occur on your team that maybe have good chemistry. He could come in and ruin it.
Yeah.
That said, he's a great player when he's on, and he showed some of that against the Knicks the other night. He destroyed them in the fourth quarter with over 20 points, and so I would say his best chance would be probably with the Lakers.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. Supposedly, the Lakers are interested in potentially trading for Kyrie Irving, but they were earlier this year anyway in the offseason. It's just that the Nets wanted no part in trading with them, because why would you want to help a team like the Lakers win? I mean, the Lakers are historically
they're not in the Eastern Division.
I know, but they're a historically successful franchise. Why make them even more successful when you're trying to build something? I agree with you, though. Kyrie, first of all, I think this is a bad idea for Kyrie Irving to do this. It's a bad public image, or at least when it comes to the NBA.
He doesn't care about his public image.
Well, I'm talking more so for his NBA persona, because if he's going to go in, he blew up his relationship with LeBron and blew up that Cavs team at the end of their run. He left Boston, just in the dust after saying that he would love to stay in Boston for years to come, and then he just decided to dip. And then he goes over to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets are nowhere near as successful as people thought. I thought when I heard about it, oh my God, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, there's 100% chance they're going to win the NBA Finals, and they were favorites, I believe, last year to win the NBA Finals, and they got swept by Boston in the first round. So Kyrie Irving is not, he's like sort of Terrell Owens, T.O., team obliterator. That's kind of what Kyrie Irving is. So I mean, this is a bad image for Kyrie wanting to dip. I mean, Kevin Durant seemingly had enough of him earlier this year when he requested a trade, or sort of actually demanded a trade. And then he sort of, decided, let me stay because the Nets were asking for way too much, and he realized he wouldn't even gotten traded by the start of the season. So this is a bad idea for Kyrie Irving to decide, 5 or 6 days before the trade deadline, let me ask for a trade. Let me absolutely just, destroy my team and make them maybe make an irrational decision
He's a free agent at the end of this year anyway. His contract is up. So why wouldn't he just try to play hard and do the best he can the rest of this year to improve his value?
That's a great question.
Instead of showing that he's a head case, and you can't, he's no consistency. Anything could happen with him.
Right.
He added to that. He's added to that by saying this. That's how I see it. But I do think, if there is a team out there that would want him, and I think it would be the Lakers, because they want to get back into it, and they're not going to. They haven't been that good this year. They've had some injuries, right? Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Davis has been out. Yeah,
he's back now, and he's fragile. I think he gets hurt a lot.
Yes.
So why not try to take some of the pressure off him by adding another marquee player, and they could be maybe able to get back into it with Kyrie Irving on their team. And I think that he might be a little better control playing with LeBron, because I think maybe LeBron's the one player that could keep him under control.
I could agree with you. They seem to have mended their relationship since Kyrie. Kyrie even admitted, though, he was the reason why that Cavs team sort of blew up, and it looks like him and LeBron have mended their relationship. But I don't think they would be as successful as people are thinking, because LeBron is now getting hurt. He's sitting some games. AD can't stay healthy for the past 3 or 4 seasons. The only healthy time was the bubble when he had 6 months off so he could stay healthier. But since then, and even before then, he just wasn't healthy. And then you have Kyrie, who has dipped for personal reasons and then didn't even tell the team he was leaving or why he was going. And you have, like you said, off the court stuff. Is all their talent when they play is phenomenal. I mean, LeBron is going up for the greatest of all time right now. He's about to pass Kareem.
He's playing well right now, too.
Maybe 3 games or less. Then you had AD. He was looking like an MVP candidate earlier this year. And then you have Kyrie, who's, I believe, has 20? He's averaging 27 points, I believe. So on the court, they're all really, really great. It's just that AD barely touches the court. LeBron is seemingly not as healthy as he used to be at age 38, 39. Oh, he's playing phenomenally. And then you have Kyrie, who right now he's been playing great, but he's had some off the court issues.
Yeah.
So I don't think this team will be great, but I agree with you. It's the only question of how are the Lakers going to form a trade to get Kyrie Irving, because they obviously want to get off Russell Westbrook. That's been widespread information that the Lakers have been trying to move Russell Westbrook.
Oh, he's played well this year, too.
He's going for 6th man of the year right now. So, but the thing that teams have always wanted are those 2 first-round draft picks the Lakers have, 2027 and 2029. And Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, does not want to get rid of those picks, because I think, any logical person would realize LeBron ain't going to be there in 2027. Most of the players on that team right now are not going to be there in 2027. They want to protect themselves, so when that team starts to dip, they at least have a first-round pick.
I think it's dipped.
You may be 100% right there, but I'm thinking that it's more of a protection, saying, you know what, when people get old, when we trade them or when they retire, we need some sort of backup plan and draft. I mean, like you said, you think it's already dipped. If they keep going down, they're going to be they're going to be in the lottery.
I mean, they've hurt themselves by giving up a lot of picks already.
Yes.
Right? They don't have a first-round pick until 27.
Yeah. So
that's they've helped other teams. I mean, the record hasn't been good the last couple of years. So
you're right.
Those picks have been pretty valuable.
I would agree with you 100%. It's just very, very fascinating. So do I think Kyrie will get traded? I don't know, because what's the price? I mean, seriously, what's the price? There were rumors already earlier this year when KD requested a trade that, it's going to be a Kyrie and KD, they're both going to be gone. And then KD requested a trade, but then he came back and decided to stay with the Nets. So it's Kyrie's time now to see if he actually forces that trade, or if he plays. Let's say the Nets don't get a trade. Are they just going to sit him? Because is he just not going to play anymore? He doesn't want. He clearly doesn't want to be a part of the team.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen then. Then he would do his dysfunctional behavior. He'd be a spoiled little boy, and he wouldn't want to play. Right? He'll be missing in action. He'll be out. He'll say he's sick or something.
Maybe.
I just don't. I think they'd be best to try to unload him. And, they probably accept Russell Westbrook because in a trade, right?
You think so?
That will put KD and Westbrook back together again.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. But the question is, though, is that something that KD even wants? Because KD got out of OKC when they lost 3-1 or they were up 3-1 and then lost that series in the Western Conference Finals back in it was the 73-9 Warriors, so that would be the 2016 Finals.
Yeah.
He said, I can't win with this guy. He's my point guard, and it's turnover galore with him. So will KD I guarantee you, the GM or the owner or whoever doing the trade will say, if we bring in Russell Westbrook, will that be okay? And if KD says, I can make it work, I guess, then you do it. But if KD says no, then Kyrie, that's going to be a question mark, because if he gets traded, that is what it is. They traded Kyrie away. But if he doesn't get traded, that's the big question mark of what the hell they're going to do with him. Because, like I said, off the court issues, he leaves. He left. Was it last year, the year before, for personal reasons? Didn't even tell the team. I think he texted some teammates, not even the head coach or whoever else. So it's going to be interesting. This is a bad move though. Kyrie Irving's playing with fire right now, because if let's just say
he's hurting his value.
100%.
I think he's hurting his value.
100%.
Because not hurting his player value. That's clear. He's playing very well. But he's hurting his consistency, stable player, teammate type guy. He's not that at all, and he's just showing that even more by doing this.
It's going to be interesting what the Nets decide to do moving forward. But we're going to move forward with our next topic, because Tom Brady announced his retirement 1 year after he announced his first retirement back on February 1st of 2022. This time is February 1st of 2023, the anniversary of what he says is his favorite Super Bowl, Super Bowl 49, which was the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl. That is his favorite. He retired on that day 2 years in a row, and we, I believe, actually have that video. So this is Tom Brady, feet in the sand. There were rumors about whether he was in LA, because he was in LA recently for 80 for Brady. There was a premiere there, or if he was in Miami, or I guess Florida area. But this is Tom Brady, feet in the sand, relaxing on one take, it looks like, announcing his retirement.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. Like, you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
That was Tom Brady. That was his retirement message. Short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah. Well, I guess after what happened last year, it was leaked, and that he was going to retire, and then he said he hadn't made a decision, and then he came out and said he was going to retire. He made a big speech. He thanked most of his thank yous were to the Tampa Bay area, and the Patriots people.
He already thanked the Patriots.
The Patriots people were upset that he didn't say anything about them at that point, but he felt like he'd already done that when he left the Patriots, and I agree with him. It was he mentioned that right there, right? That I'm not getting into any long-winded thing here, and given what happened last year, this is short and sweet. I'm retiring. Yeah. So I think he handled it probably the right way here. And,
I would say so.
I'm sorry to see him retire. I thought he was going to play again next year, and you thought he would retire, and you were right. So we'll see what he does now. I guess he's going to take that.
He's got a 10-year deal with Fox.
Yeah, maybe we can get him to come on our show. Right? Yeah. So best wishes to him. It's been a fantastic ride for all of us. I've been a Patriots fan most of my life, and so it's been a great run with Tom Brady, and loved watching him play. Loved his competitive fire. He brought everything I think a player should bring, an athlete should bring to the profession, and he was number one. And you can see we got his jersey up here, and we've got the picture of him with all the Super Bowls. Fantastic.
All the Patriots Super Bowls. You don't have his 2021 Bucks Super Bowl.
That's okay.
What I found very interesting is, I believe we have it. I believe I can bring it up right now. Bill Belichick had another statement that he made along with Robert Kraft. I don't have Robert Kraft's message, but I do in fact have Bill Belichick. So here it is. We're one step ahead, so let me just back up one. Let's see if I can get this right. Let's see. There we go. Tom was the ultimate winner. He entered the NFL with little to no fanfare and leaves us as the most successful player in league history. His relentlessness, pursuit of excellence drove him on a daily basis. His work ethic and desire to win were both motivational and inspirational to teammates and coaches alike. Tom was a true professional who carried himself with class and integrity throughout his career. I thank Tom for the positive impact he had on me and on the Patriots, and congratulate him on his amazing career.
Great statement.
It's actually a very, very nice statement. I think he actually made a better one last year when the retirement was first announced. I think he called him like the greatest player of all time or something like that, and that blew up the internet because Belichick never really complimented Brady in the 20 years they've been together. Yeah. So him to come out and say that was definitely something. But this is a very, very good message from Bill Belichick. But you mentioned his historic career. How about we talk about his career in a little bit more context? Why don't we? So Brady has played in 48 playoff games. 48. Which is insane. And I equate a playoff game in the NFL to like a game 7, let's say, in the NBA. Because it is an elimination game. That's what game 7 is in NBA, MLB, NHL. And so I decided, I was very, very curious about each player, because there's 4 major sports in America: football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. I decided to look up in each sport who has played in the most game 7s in each of those sports. So for the MLB, it's Mickey Mantle with 8, and then for the NBA, it's Ray Allen with 11, and in the NHL, it's Zdeno Chara, I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right, with 14. So if you add all those together, it's 33 game 7s that they've played in. So how many did they win? Mickey Mantle won 4 of those. Ray Allen won 7 game 7s. And Zdeno Chara won 6. So they've won just above 50% of their Game 7 appearances. Brady has played in 48 playoff games, so I equate that to 48 Game 7s, and he's won 35 of those. So Tom Brady has won 2 more than if you combine all the other 3 other major sports in America have played in combined. The most, like the players with the most appearances. Combine those, Brady has more wins than they do appearances.
Percentage of close to 80%.
Yeah. And I decided to dig a little bit deeper because I was very, very curious about, just how crazy this stat is. You have 10 Super Bowls, 10 Super Bowl appearances, and if you take away his rookie year, because I think he didn't even, I don't think he started a single game, and I think he only threw 4 passes, and the year where he got hurt back in 2008, where he didn't finish out the year. Every year that Tom Brady finished, so 21 seasons, he's made it to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7 of those. That's 33% in his career to win a Super Bowl. A 1 in 3 chance to not make it, to win the Super Bowl. It's nearly impossible to make the Super Bowl. It's even harder to win the Super Bowl. And I found this extremely interesting because when I saw this, it blew my mind. Tom Brady retired never having taken a snap when his team was mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So that's 15,906 snaps, each with the possibility of ending in a Super Bowl championship.
Wow.
That's 23 seasons of play, 21 seasons where he finished out the year. Not a single time Brady played a game eliminated from the playoffs. That blows my mind with just how consistent Brady has actually been.
Yeah.
And not only that, Brady has had 3 Hall of Fame careers in one singular career. And I believe I have that up as well. Let's break it down, why don't we? The first one's the Troy Aikman phase, where you have 3 Super Bowl titles, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 0 regular season MVPs, and 5 division titles for Brady, with 3 Super Bowl titles, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, no regular season MVPs, and 6 division titles for Troy Aikman. That is his entire career to Brady's first 7 years in the league. Let's go to Brady's next 7 years. This is the Dan Marino phase. This is one where Brady didn't win much, especially in the Super Bowl. He lost 2 Super Bowls to Eli Manning. But this is where his stats exploded, starting with that 2007, at the time, record-breaking season with 50 touchdowns, and he threw 23 of those to Randy Moss, which is still an NFL record today. He had 2 Super Bowl appearances, 2 passing touchdown leaders, 2 regular season MVPs, 6 division titles. That's Brady in, 7 years, 2007 to 2013. To Dan Marino's career of 1 Super Bowl appearance, 3 passing touchdown leaders, 1 regular season MVP, and 5 division titles. And then the craziest part about this is Brady's next phase, 2014 to 2022. So his mid-30s into his 40s, with a majority of this actually being in his 40s.
Yeah.
And that's the Joe Montana phase. Each with 4 Super Bowl titles, each with 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Joe Montana beats Brady out regular season MVPs 2-1. But Brady beats him out in Super Bowl appearances with 5-4. Brady has had 3 Hall of Fame quarterback careers in one singular career.
Yeah, and if you add up all the years those 3 quarterbacks played, right? Troy Aikman, what did he play? Probably 12 years. I think he played 12
I can get
years.
That up.
Dan Marino, he played a long time. Joe Montana both played a long time. You add up all those years to win those, how many 9 Super Bowls, right? Between those, wasn't it 9?
Let's say, well, Joe Montana has 4.
4, and
Dan Marino doesn't have 1.
he doesn't have any.
He never won one.
He never won.
Never won. He made it to 1, and that was
one appearance.
Yeah, that
right?
was against Joe
so
Montana.
So the wins, there's 4, and then there's 3. 7 wins. Brady ties him for wins, right?
Yep.
The number of years those 3 quarterbacks played total was how much?
Let's see. Troy Aikman played, I think it's 12 years. Montana played, let's see. Montana played 15 years.
15 and 12,
and
that's 27.
Dan Marino played, I have to do quick math here, 17 years.
17 years?
Yeah.
So
age 22 to 38.
And 17 is 44.
Well,
27, no, it's 54, isn't it? 27 and 17, right?
27 and 17 is 27 is 44.
44 years.
44.
Okay. Brady played 23 years.
23 years.
So it took those 3 guys 44 years to win 7 Super Bowls, and it took Brady 23.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
That is something else.
I mean, it's less than about half.
Yeah.
Right? About half the number of years. So it's amazing. It's unbelievable. You can come up with stats like this that really show how dominant he was and how much he'll be missed.
I don't have the graphic here because I didn't put it on our graphics list, but I will show you because I want to see your reaction about it. This is a list of most of Brady's accomplishments, but not all. That is the list there. Every single one of those lines is a record that Tom Brady holds.
Yeah.
That it just includes stuff like most touchdown passes, most yards, most attempts.
I don't
most
think
completions.
anybody will ever break his playoff stats. You know, his combined playoff stats of those.
Mahomes is up there though.
But you think Mahomes is going to play in 48 playoff games? I don't think so.
I can agree with you because if you're actually thinking about
he's getting up. How many years he been in the league now? 5 years.
5. He's 27.
5 years. He only got 1 Super Bowl win.
I know.
So far.
I know. But what's crazy about this is Brady hasn't actually played 23 seasons. He's actually played 26 if you include the playoff games.
Yeah.
He's played 48 playoff games. So actually, a majority of teams stopped at week 17 or now what would be week 18.
Yeah.
Brady played 3 extra seasons in his career beyond that point. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So in totality, he has 26 seasons of mileage behind him.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely absurd. So it's truly incredible what Brady has been doing. And the way we're seeing it, right? 6th round pick, that just adds to the storyline. Everywhere Brady has gone, he's won. He beat Alabama when he was with Michigan. That was a beautiful comeback, by the way. They actually, if you think about it,
he never won a national championship.
Never won a national championship, but was it the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl back?
Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl. I mean, if we look at that Michigan game, that kind of was a prelude to the rest of his career. The way he came back against Alabama, then he comes in to the Patriots, wins 6 Super Bowls over the course of 20 years. Then he comes to Tampa Bay in this first season during the pandemic. Comes in and wins that Super Bowl. And then he has a very great opportunity this past year when he had AB Gronk in 2021. And, there was a blown blitz, and the Rams were able to actually beat him out, win the Super Bowl. And then this year, which was a horrible year for the Bucs in total, an off year for Brady.
Well, they made the playoffs.
They did make the playoffs, but it was a very ugly playoff. It was a very, very ugly playoff run. So what he's been doing, I don't think will be touched. It's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, we're talking about 7 Super Bowl wins here. He made it to 10. And what's crazy about that is we're talking about how all these players could, approach Brady. Joe Montana used to be the GOAT, and he went 4-0 in Super Bowls. Brady has 3 more Super Bowls and 6 more appearances than Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought Joe Montana couldn't be touched. 4-0 in Super Bowls. And now we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, is he the next Tom Brady? Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. We've been so desensitized because Brady made it seem so easy to win. And also, I don't get the Brady's been carried in every Super Bowl he's ever played in. First off, I want to say this. His defenses were so good. If his defenses were that good, why did he have to come back in every single playoff game? He had to. It was in every single Patriots Super Bowl. He had to lead 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. And in 3 of the 7 Super Bowls, he didn't even have a top 10 defense. The highest outside of when he had, and he actually, and I have every Super Bowl appearance he had in here. His best defense is actually, he lost the Super Bowl. His best defense was in 2007. They were 4th in total defense. They lost that one.
The first win, they had a very good defense.
24th.
Was it the first
24th,
one?
2001 Super Bowl where they won. They had the 24th total defense.
I think maybe their defense improved a lot during the year that year because their defense was great against the Rams.
Well, it could have been that one game. It could have just been that one game.
It was good throughout the playoffs that year.
Like for instance, in the second Rams Super Bowl that they played in, their defense was 21st, and they held a team, who scored 33 points. They only allowed 3 points in that Super Bowl. So I think, honestly, it could just be how you're playing on that day. So it could be that. But during the regular season, Brady, out of his 7 Super Bowl wins, he had 3 total defense rankings, 13th or higher. His other Super Bowls, 21st, above the top 10. So 2018, Super Bowl 53, Rams Patriots, the second one. He had the 21st ranked defense. In 2014, the Legion of Boom, they had the 13th ranked defense. And his first Super Bowl win against the first Rams Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf, his defense is ranked 24th. And what's crazy is that in that 2011 season, which is arguably Brady's best season, it's that one, 2021, and then 2007. Those are his top 3 because he threw for 5,200 yards in 2011. His defense was ranked 31st, and he made it all the way to a Super Bowl. Imagine if Brady won that Super Bowl and he had the 31st ranked defense. That would have to be another record.
The other thing that's very impressive is in the playoffs, all those 35 games that he won, and particularly as he got closer in the AFC championship games, right, and the one NFC championship. Well, he played 2 NFC championship games. He's playing against some great defenses.
Absolutely.
Right? And look at his stats.
I mean, he beat the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
He actually, if you take a look at it now, after that Super Bowl loss, They fell apart, the Seahawks. And same
They
thing
did.
with the Falcons. The Falcons and the Seahawks have never been the
they've
same
never
since
been
that
the
Super
same
Bowl loss,
since, Super Bowl losses, yeah.
which is crazy to think. So I don't know. It's
The
gonna
Rams
be,
is kind of as well, right? In the first Rams win, they
yeah.
after that, they were the greatest show on turf. They weren't after that.
I think 2018 was that was the next Super Bowl they played in was 2018.
Yeah.
So it took them 17 years to make
get
it to
back,
another one.
Yeah.
And they had they had Aaron Donald for a number of years. Jalen Ramsey came over there. They had Ndamukong Suh for that year, actually, which I completely forgot that he was even on the Rams at that point. So it's kind of interesting just, how historic Brady's career is. And it's going to be, we're talking about Michael Jordan, Kareem, Bill Russell, and LeBron all up there. And that's the thing, right? You could say in some sports, you could argue who the best player at his position is, or even just in the league. You can't really say that with Tom Brady. You can't. And just saying that now, you're either a hater or you just don't know exactly what you're talking about. Because you just have to take one quick look and realize that this is impossibly great. 6 game winning drives.
Ever be matched.
6 game winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime in Super Bowls. That's impossibly clutch. Impossibly clutch.
Yeah.
He beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in 2018. That's something to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I believe him and Mahomes are tied on their career records. I think they're 2-2 against each other, if I'm not mistaken. Although there was one game, I think in 2019, where they lost 21 to 15 or something like that. And Jacoby Myers, they ruled him. He stepped out of bounds the 4-yard line or something like that. It should have been a touchdown. I forgot exactly what that score was, but he should have won that game. But it's crazy, and you know what? This one feels like he's actually done.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It'll be interesting
feel
to see how he feels when it gets close to the spring training.
It took him 40 days to
make a decision, but
yeah,
as it gets closer to, the time to play, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Gronk is talking about coming out of retirement. He'll come out of retirement.
He said he wants to play the Bills.
Then they'll try to lure him out. Then Gronk will try to lure Brady back. Yeah.
I don't know. I personally,
I would say Gronk might want to play for the Bills.
Yeah, he said he was. I'm pretty sure he was a Bills fan. He grew up in New York. So he was looking at the Bills when he retired. He said he became a Bills fan again.
Yeah.
And he actually talked with the Bills in.
Well, then they wouldn't have Brady because they've got
right. They've Josh Allen. Yeah. So. I don't know. He also mentioned that he would love to play with Joe Burrow as well. So there's a couple. He may come back, but I don't know. I think Gronk may stick to his word that the only quarterback he ever wants to catch passes from is Brady. But we'll see. Gronk is a very unpredictable person. Let's get into our next topic before we go to break. We're talking about Sean Payton because it's over. Sean Payton has signed a 5-year deal with the Denver Broncos to become one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. The Saints will get draft picks. I'll try to bring up exactly what the compensation is. But do you think Sean Payton can turn around the Broncos, and in particular Russell Wilson, after a very, very, very disappointing season that we witnessed this past year?
I think it will be hard.
Okay.
Because I think the Broncos gave up so much to get Russell Wilson. That they're going to have a hard time through the draft adding impact players here in the next couple of years. And Russell Wilson is a bit of a question mark whether just changing coaches is going to re-spark his abilities, which suffered badly under Nathaniel Hackett. And but I don't think that it's all the coach's fault that he played poorly. I think that maybe the system had a lot to do with it. I don't know. But Sean Payton runs a different system than they ran in Seattle, I think. I don't think that's the same system. So whether he plays great under Sean Payton or not remains to be seen, but he'll have to because their offense is horrible.
Yeah.
Right? All their stats are right down near the bottom. So he's got his work cut out for him there.
So I'm looking at it right now. Sean Payton was traded for this year's first-round pick, which was San Francisco's, the number 30th overall, and a 2024 second-round pick.
That's a lot to give up for just getting your coach.
Yeah, and you add that to the 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 3 players that they traded for Russell Wilson. This team is banking all of its chips are on the table for 2 individuals, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, to make that franchise relevant again, and it really hasn't been since Peyton Manning and that amazing defense with Von Miller hasn't been the same since then. So they're banking on the success between Sean Payton, a phenomenal head coach, and Russell Wilson, who has been in a slow decline since his later years with Seattle.
Decline picked up this last year,
and we got to see if it was Nathaniel Hackett's fault or if Russell Wilson can't cook no more. And I've been saying this, and I'm going to stick to it unless I see something else. I don't think this will be a little blip in Russell Wilson's career. I think this is going to be more of a trend. And I think, Russell Wilson's heading for a brick wall right now, and he doesn't see it. I don't think a lot of people see it.
I mean, aside from the few seasons he had, the 2 seasons he made it to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
We looked at his stats. His historical stats aren't that great.
His offense, his passing offense has not been good. We're talking about several seasons where he was actually bottom 10 in passing offense, and that was in large part due because Pete Carroll was a big running head coach. He was a defensive head coach, but they had Marshawn Lynch, so they ran the ball a lot. Several seasons, top 3 in rushing offense. So Russell Wilson, it's sort of been,
I mean, Seattle, near the end when he was with them, their offensive line.
The offensive line was a big problem there.
So, but he's somebody that can save a play, by scrambling.
He used to. He doesn't do that anymore, though.
Doesn't do that now, yeah.
But although Sean Payton might bring that back.
Maybe.
Who knows? And towards the end of the year, actually, Russell Wilson did look better. I mean, his 2 of his best games were against the Chiefs, where he had an opportunity to win both. Yeah, I believe he got concussed in the second one, so they had to bring in, I believe it was the first one. They had to bring in, Brett Ripien. And he actually had an opportunity to win the game. And you know what? He's a backup quarterback, and backup quarterbacks generally show you in the game why they're a backup quarterback.
Yeah. And
he made a mistake and cost his team the game. So his 2 best games were against the Chiefs right now, and they're in the Super Bowl. So
the Broncos have a decent defense.
They do.
Their defense is good, so they'll hang on to those coaches. And Sean Payton is the one that's got to fix the offense.
Yeah, so. And I mean, I don't think right now there's no head coach on the market offensively better than Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. I mean, he took the Saints, who back then were the Aints, and brought them to a Super Bowl and won with Drew Brees. And then since then, I mean, he's had decent amount of success over his time with the Saints.
Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
By far. He doesn't have the arm Russell Wilson has, though.
But look at his stats. I mean, he's right up there with Brady.
He was ahead of Brady for until last year.
Anywhere near the number of playoff games.
No.
Right? So, Drew Brees is...
Drew Brees is an all-time great. Absolutely.
Great.
1,000%. I just think, Russell Wilson may bring a little bit more to the table, but you know what? Back then...
Athletically, maybe.
Athletically, yes.
Smarts-wise, I don't know. Drew Brees is
We're going to have to see, though. I'm seeing a trend right now. I don't think it's a blip whatsoever because, we saw it in the game against... the first ever game I think he played. Was it? I think it took him like 40 seconds to call it. They were just wasting clock at the end of that game. It's the first ever game. It was Broncos Seahawks. I think they wasted a bunch of time, and Nathaniel Hackett finally called timeout at the very end of the play clock. I think it was something crazy like that. Horrible clock management.
Yeah.
Although Russell Wilson could have just gone timeout, and no one decided to do that. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see if Sean Payton can actually come back and turn around this team, because when I first heard that Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos, I said it on this show. Oh, the AFC West is going to be the hardest division in football because you have the Raiders who were supposed to be good. You had the Broncos who were supposed to be good. You had the Chargers who were supposed to be really good.
Raiders stunk.
And they shouldn't have. And that's the crazy thing.
The Raiders had a period there where they started playing better, but at the end there,
in the beginning they were terrible, and at the end they were terrible.
Their last game, they looked terrible.
So, I mean, I said on this show that I thought the AFC West was going to be the hardest division of football. And 2 of the teams that had tremendous talent and made monster moves, Devontae Adams to the Raiders, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, played horribly. Horribly.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if Sean Payton can turn around the Broncos. I think Sean Payton right now would be the best guy to do it. It's just a question of
he's the best
will he actually
available
get it done?
coach. He was the best available coach.
Yeah, no, that is true. But we are going to take a break right now. We're going to take a relatively short break. But coming up, Brady actually, there was a report coming out that Brady was going to be a Buck, or he was going to stay, or he was going to retire. And also, the Cardinals are having trouble finding their next head coach because of Kyler Murray's contract. And also, we have a little bit of fun talking about the All-Star game. We draft our own All-Star teams. That and more coming up right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic. We are talking about Brady once again, because I found it very interesting. There was a report coming out that Brady, people close to him actually, it turns out that Brady was just exhausted by the end of the year. I guess 23 years finally got to Tom Brady. And there was a report coming out that really it was Tampa Bay or retirement. So all the 49ers rumors and the Raiders rumors and everything, they were exactly that, just rumors. There was no actual truth to that. So I'm going to ask you, are you surprised that Brady would have remained the Buck and have gone through that process of dealing with their rebuild, I guess you can call it? Are you surprised by that if he ended up actually staying in the NFL?
A little bit. I thought he'd be headed off to the Raiders to reunite with Josh McDaniel, or 49ers, because that was his childhood team. But I think the family issue, right? His kids, they live in Florida, so he wanted to be near them, and it looked like once the Dolphins said they're going to stick with Tua, then I guess the Bucs are really the only team in Florida that he had a chance with, because certainly Trevor Lawrence is going to stay the starter for Jacksonville. They're not going to bring Tom Brady in there.
I would agree with you.
So, yeah, I guess it's not that surprising. He didn't want to travel back and forth. I mean, maybe Atlanta. But Atlanta's team, and they're probably not a Super Bowl contender. So, yeah, he wanted to stay. He wants to stay in Florida. He wants to be near his family.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a little bit surprising, because I did think Brady, I mean, just take a look at it. Brady plans things out very meticulously. I mean, he retired on the year anniversary. He retired last year. That had to mean something there. And I think, I would have expected him to try to get that storybook ending, to go to the 49ers, to be near his parents at the end of his career. to hopefully win with his childhood team. I mean, I thought that would make a lot of sense for Brady. But I mean, that would have been what I first thought. But then when I thought about it, Brady likes to win, and one of the best chances to win and what would fit would be that Josh McDaniels, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs connection that they would have had on the Las Vegas Raiders. Although it came out that it wouldn't have been the Josh McDaniels connection that would have, gotten Brady to the Raiders. It would have been if the owner was like, hey, Brady, we need you. Come over here. We want you here. It actually, Josh McDaniels was not the key piece in that. It was actually the owner.
But I think that's the piece that would get Brady incentivized to go there.
Maybe. But so I'm a little bit surprised because I think Brady, at what would have been 46 years old, I didn't think he would want to be a part of this because he doesn't. You were right. He retired. Yeah, no, but I was a little bit surprised. I mean, no, what I'm saying is I wasn't surprised because at the end of 2019, when his last year with the Patriots, he saw what was coming. No receivers. Offensive line's okay. The running game is deteriorated. The defense is all right, but everyone's getting ready to leave because Belichick didn't want to pay him. So he said, "Let me go somewhere where I get talent. They draft. They want me there." I'm not saying the Patriots didn't want him there, but they did stuff to show that they want him there. They went out, drafted a left tackle. They drafted Tristan Wirfs. They got Leonard Fournette. Gronk came out of retirement. They actually traded. The Patriots traded him to Tampa Bay. He got AB. So they were able to actually pick pieces up around Brady to allow them to win that Super Bowl in the pandemic year. So I'm actually a little bit surprised because I think Brady, if he did stay, will want to be a part of like that rebuild and reconfiguration. Plus, they just blew up their coaching staff. No one's there anymore. Yeah. You have Todd Bowles and who?
Yeah.
So
he may not have liked that they got rid of what's his name? Well, who was the offensive?
Bruce Arians. Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich, because I think Brady likes to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
Right? He was throwing it almost 50 times a game. He had the most attempts in the league history the past year.
I mean, I mean, of course he likes to throw the ball, but he also likes, I would say he likes winning more than that. And so
he doesn't like getting sacked. That's for sure. Nobody would like that.
And when you're throwing the ball 55 times a game, your chance of getting sacked are exemplified. So I'm a little bit surprised. But you know what? I mean, I predicted this. I said, I've been saying, all these conversations about, the Raiders, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Dolphins, the 49ers. It's all great conversation. I mean, it gets the clicks, but I said from the start, I think Brady's retiring. I did it just for the sake of doing the show, although I entertained the idea. I thought, this makes logical sense. But I thought Brady said he wanted to play till he's 45. He always said he wanted to play until he couldn't lead a championship team anymore. And those two things happened in this past year.
Yeah.
So it only led up to what,
So he made his goal. He played till he was 45.
And honestly, I should have known February 1st because he did it last year. And, just think about it, right? He was 37 years old. He was talking with Chris Berman, and he said, I want to play till I'm 45. And Chris Berman was taken back by that. And he's like, you mean 40? And Brady says, no, 45. I want to play till I'm 45. So, just think about that. He set goals, and he literally did everything in his power to do that.
Yeah, to reach them.
45 years old, at that level he was playing at. He was third in passing yards this year. At 45 years old. He led his team to the playoffs as a starting quarterback. Every year that he's ended the league, he's missed the playoffs once in 2002. 2008, he didn't finish out the year. He missed the playoffs. 2001, he didn't start. So, or I guess 2000, he didn't start. 2011, Super Bowl. 2011 Super Bowl, but 2001 Super Bowl year where he won the Super Bowl. So, it's absolutely insane. Like I said, 15,906 snaps without being eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he goes all the way up to 45 years old, which he said he would do. He said if he couldn't lead a championship team, which he couldn't do this year, he would walk away. And it's weird, though, because last year people thought, this is Brady's last year. And then, because he went out on a high note. That's what Peyton Manning did. Although Peyton Manning played like crap most of the year. He had like 9 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. Yeah.
Well, he was hurt. He had some.
He got benched by Brock Osweiler.
He had the neck injury.
But that was like 6-7 years after.
No, but he had surgeries on that. And I think his arm strength was affected by it.
Yeah, but even then though, Peyton Manning went out on a high. Brady threw for 5,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. Should have won MVP that year. And people thought, Brady's going out on a high note. He didn't win, but you know what? He's going out on a high note. And then when Brady retired, I think some people were shocked just because, you know what? I mean, I guess we were shocked because it's like, oh, he did so well. But I think that a decent amount of people thought he would go out on a high note, and then he came back because he said he wanted to play at 45, and then he comes this year at 45 years old, he had 4,400 yards, something like that, with I think 29 touchdowns. So it was sort of actually a duplicate of his 2019 season, and that's what I felt like. I felt like this was just a repeat of 2019, and you know it would have been interesting to see what happens. But apparently the report is he would have stayed a Buccaneer, which that's quite interesting.
That is interesting.
It shows loyalty, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's impressive. Let's get into our next topic. We talked about Kyler Murray before on this show, and it looks like Kyler Murray is once again the head of a problem. The Cardinals fired Cliff Kingsbury, who took a one-way ticket to Thailand, turned down a bunch of offers to stay in the NFL.
Nobody's heard from him since, right?
Yeah, no one's heard from him since. But apparently he's enjoying it in Thailand.
Well, good for him.
and the Cardinals are in search of the next head coach. And the next head coach is taking longer than expected because of Kyler Murray's extension. They do not want to be bound to Kyler Murray for 4 years. It's as simple as that. So their head coaching find is taking much longer than anticipated. So I'm going to ask you, based on the struggles of finding a head coach for the Cardinals, do you think that Kyler Murray will stay the Cardinals franchise quarterback if and when they finally find their next head coach?
I think he's there for next year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and he'll probably play out. How long has he got on his contract?
I believe it's 4 years left.
4 years left. I think probably 2 years anyway. He's got to make a major rebound here. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to win some games and not make mistakes. Like a playoff game he got into. My God, that was horrendous. And and I think he needs to tone it down some too. You know, he was arguing with the coach on the sideline there. I think that stuff's got to go away. And I don't know. We'll see how well he comes back from quite a serious injury there. He had the torn ACL, so there's a lot for him. He's got some hurdles to get over to get back to when his early seasons there, where he looked like he was headed to be a Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, he played very well. You know,
he did.
If he kept up the way he was playing the first couple of years, I think that you wouldn't be talking about him like this.
I think the way the Cardinals should go is, like you said, get a head coach. That's the first thing, obviously. Have Kyler Murray play 1 year. And then because Cliff Kingsbury didn't really trust Kyler Murray doesn't even trust Kyler Murray. He's afraid to run the ball now. And that was his main piece of
he won't
his
be
game.
running it next year, right? He's not coming back until like November.
Yeah,
right?
he's coming back.
Right?
He's coming back about week 8 to 10, I believe it is.
So I don't know who have they got to play while he's gone.
They may have Colt McCoy
Again,
still.
really? I'd be surprised if they go with him.
Don't they have David Blau? Is I call
Blau?
Him? Yeah,
David Blau.
Yeah, I think they might have him.
I don't think either of those guys.
Of course not. They're backups and third strings.
Yeah, they're going to try to get somebody.
But here's what I would do. What I would do is start David Blau or whoever else you have at quarterback, someone not good. Tank, because you can't come out and say you're tanking. Go get Caleb Williams next year. So Kyler Murray actually has some sort of competition. Because Caleb Williams will probably be the number 1 overall pick next draft. So you go up. If Kyler Murray comes back in week 10, he plays great. Good for you. You come in, you win, maybe let's say he comes back in week 10. So you have 8 games, week 10 to week 18 or whatever. So you have him come in, have him play. If he wins, 5 or 6 games, so be it. Wait till let's see how he looks at the beginning of next year. Have him play maybe that season. So you have 2 years with Kyler Murray, but have Caleb Williams when or if Kyler Murray falls apart again or gets hurt. So that's the thing, because I think Kyler Murray right now, the major stepping stone was he goes from being a great passer to adding a run game to it. But then he fell off in that Rams playoff game where he was afraid to run the ball. And this season, he was afraid to run the ball. And then even, was it in the Patriots game, I believe
he got hurt on a running play.
Was it the Patriots game or was it the...
Yeah, the Patriots game.
Yeah. He did something like
non-contact injury.
yeah, it was a non-contact injury, but
it was a running play though. He ran it.
It didn't look like he was even that confident when he was running the ball.
Yeah.
I still think he's afraid to get hit when he runs it. And I mean, take a look at Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen's much bigger than Kyler Murray, but take a look at Lamar Jackson. He's running into guys. He's not sliding. He's doing full contact. And Josh Allen is taking even that a step further. He won't slide. He will bang into people constantly, which is actually a very, very dangerous way to play.
I think so too.
But, if Kyler Murray's afraid to run the ball, it's the same thing with Russell Wilson. A huge part of a huge positive part of the game is extending plays, running the ball. Lamar Jackson does it, even though he's not a great thrower. Justin Fields does it, even though he's not a great thrower. Kyler Murray has an arm, and he has legs. He doesn't need his legs, just like Russell Wilson doesn't need his legs. But that enhances their game to a level that makes it significantly more difficult to beat him or to recognize the play. So
he's somebody that can save a play with his legs.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
When he can't find anybody, he can scramble around back there until the play is so crazy and they find somebody that's unguarded.
He did that against.
He's done that quite a number of times.
He did that against the Raiders this past year. In what was it the last play in the fourth quarter, or whatever? He was scrambling around and then he finally found somebody.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray can do that.
He's a talent.
He just doesn't do it.
Just we got to see what happens next. I just think the way they did his contract extension with that clause in there, you need to watch
4 hours of film. Was it a day? Oh, it was a week, and not even a day.
Yeah. I think that was something that annoyed him a lot, and probably didn't do much for his relationship with Kingsbury.
Here's what I'm going to say. He won the first power struggle. He got Kingsbury out of there. The next one's going to be on him.
Yeah, it is. And
it ain't going to be on the next head coach.
That's right.
So
and the next head coach isn't going to want to tank, right? He's going to want to come in there and do the best he can. He wants to win some games. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at quarterback and before Murray comes back.
You know what I'm wondering? Have the Cardinals I mean I could look this up, but I want to get your reaction on it. Have the Cardinals interviewed Steve Wilkes yet? Because he was the head coach I believe like a decade ago, and he went like 3-13.
Yeah.
Could they maybe think about bringing him back? Because he was right up there with Frank Reich for the Panthers job. So should they? Do you think they should try to go for Steve Wilkes?
I think he should be interviewed. He did a great job with the Panthers.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised the Panthers didn't pick him.
I don't know. That just crossed my mind. I'm actually kind of curious who the Cardinals have been interviewing. Because I haven't really heard much about Cardinals interviews. Aaron Glenn. I'm not familiar with Aaron Glenn.
Really? They're interviewing him?
Who? The Detroit Lions defensive coordinator?
That's what I was going to say.
The Lions have the 32nd ranked defense in the league. The Cardinals are I told you they're tanking.
Yeah.
Also, Mike Kafka, who I believe that's the Jets, the Giants OC, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cardinals are tanking. The Cardinals. Oh.
No, they're having a hard time finding a coach, I guess.
You know
Wilkes
why?
Sounds like a pretty good option.
You know why? They have the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator who ranked 32nd in defense, and they're bringing in Mike Kafka, who is Daniel Jones's OC this year, who I think was more Brian Daboll than anything else. But what do I know? Let's get into our next topic. We're doing something new here, and this took a lot of work. We're doing our All-Star draft because the All-Stars, the final player pool was released. And here it is. A lot of players, 22 players to choose from, including 24, including Giannis and LeBron, who were each starters this year. The stars next to them, if you're watching this on YouTube, are the starters that you could pick from. And we decided, or at least I decided, why don't we take up, you're Giannis, I'm LeBron this year, and let's do our own draft, because they're gonna do a live draft on the All-Star game, I think a couple hours beforehand, or even minutes beforehand, who knows? And then you could choose East or West, no matter which conference you're from. So Giannis can choose Curry, he can choose Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You could choose all these players. You could swap divisions, swap conferences, instead of having only an Eastern team and only a Western team. it's actually quite an interesting all-star concept because the first 3 quarters, just a little breakdown of how this game's going to work in case you don't know. Based on what I read and what I understand, it's going to be a 4-quarter game, but the first 3 quarters are each going to start at 0-0, and they're going to play 12 minutes. In the 4th quarter, they're going to take the cumulative of each quarter and then combine it and add 24 to whoever the highest scoring team is, and that's going to be the point total to get to in the 4th quarter. It's a timeless 4th quarter. It's only about getting to that specific scoring point. So, for instance, there's an example. If, let's say, you're Giannis, I'm LeBron, I'm at 100 points, you're at 95 at the beginning of the 4th quarter. A timeless 4th quarter, I have to get to 124, you have to get to 124. I have to only score 24, you score 29 points. Whoever gets to 124 first wins the All-Star game.
That's an interesting concept. I think it just adds to the fact that no defense played in an All-Star game. There's going to be 0 defense here.
That's these All-Star games.
This is all about shooting the ball and a lot of threes. They're going to be a ton of threes, raining threes.
Hey, it could be like a 200 to 198 game. Who knows? Who knows? But let's get into it because I decided to pick who I wanted to be my captain first. I allowed you to get the first pick in the draft. So let's get into it. Let's begin with
let's start with who you picked. You picked LeBron. You picked Team LeBron, right?
So my first pick is LeBron James.
Yeah, you took LeBron, and I took Giannis. I think I have the upper hand there on the talent side.
I'll give that to you
because Giannis is younger and he's a more dominant force right now. But I would say on the leadership side, you probably won with LeBron.
Yeah.
So the players are going to play hard for him.
Yeah.
So so there's a plus and a minus there, but I was happy to be able to get Giannis.
I will say, because I actually got the draft wrong, I thought the starters were going to stay East and West, and then you would pick from the other player. I thought you picked the reserves for the draft. I got that wrong. So actually, in large part, the reason why I even picked LeBron was because it had Curry, Doncic, Zion, and Nikola Jokic. That was a much more dominant team, I think, than some of the players on the original team that I thought. But your head coach, and this is another part why I gave you the Eastern team, your coach is the Celtics coach, Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah.
I have the Denver Nuggets head coach in Michael Malone. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it. The first pick.
I wonder how they picked those guys to be the leaders.
They're the leaders in each of the conferences.
Leaders in the conferences, yeah.
With the first pick in the 2023 All-Star Game, Team Giannis selects
Jason Tatum.
Bingo. Why'd you pick Tatum at number 1 over whoever else is there?
I'm a Celtics
fan. There you go. With the second pick in round 1, I got Luka. Do I have it up here? I got Luka Doncic, I believe I have. Here we go. I guess, and you get Nikola Jokic. I don't know why. I guess that.
How's that happen?
I don't know. I guess I screwed that. But there we go. We have round 2. You pick Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. I like my size up front now. I get a lot of power.
There you do.
And I like the way that Nikola is able to both handle the ball and distribute it and shoot and get rebounds. So I think he's a great player. I'm happy.
I think that is actually a pretty scary lineup, at least down low. But let's go with the next pick in the draft. The round 2 pick number 2? I got Stephen Curry. I got 2 tremendous shooters on my team. Luka is going for the MVP right now with Embiid, with Jokic. I got LeBron, I got Curry, the greatest 3-point shooter, the greatest shooter of all time. I'm pretty happy with that pick.
Yeah.
Round 3, the first pick in round 3.
I counted that with Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell.
He's having a great season. Got the Cavs playing much better ball than they have in the past. I think he's going to have a great game.
That's a pretty good pickup. For my round 3 pick, I got Kevin Durant. Or I guess Zion now. I got this wrong. Yeah, Zion, my bad. Yeah, now you know my next pick, Kevin Durant. Zion, supposedly he's getting reevaluated in a week or 2.
I think that's a risky pick because he may not even play.
He may not even play, but you know what? When he plays, he's a very, very dominant low man.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if he comes back, how good he actually does, because down low, he's a beast. It's just his weight, so he has leg injuries. He needs to lighten up a little bit, and I think he'll stay healthier. So your pick for round 4, I already gave mine away.
Yeah, well, I don't like this player, but I think he'll have a fantastic game because he's all about himself, Kyrie Irving.
And of course, I already said it. I got Kevin Durant. So these are our starters right now. I got Curry, Luka, KD, LeBron, and Zion. With you got Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic.
I would say you maybe beat me in the back court a little bit, but I got you in the front court.
I don't know. KD's better than Tatum right now, but Giannis is better than LeBron.
He hasn't played in 2 weeks, right? He's been hurt, and Zion hasn't played.
No. Looking at this, even if KD does play, he's better than Jason Tatum. You still beat me 2-1 anyway, because Giannis right now is better than LeBron, and then Nikola Jokic is better than Zion.
The front court, I think, is better than the back, and you have the strength better in the back court.
And right now, the NBA is about backcourt. It ain't about those.
Well,
big men
in this game, it's going to be about raining threes. So I think maybe you might have a little bit of an upper hand there.
All right, let's microphone die a little bit. Let's go with the next one. Our reserves. You get the first pick. Round number 5. Who's your first pick in round number 5?
Sabonis.
Domantas Sabonis. Why'd you decide to pick him?
Again, I've got power up front. I like the power up front. I think he's. I've seen him play in person. I'm pretty impressed with him, and I'm not sure why the Pacers ever traded him to the Kings, but they probably regret it now. They don't have any players on the team, so I think he'll have a good game. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't go with this guy, but I got Joel Embiid. He should be the leader for MVP right now. Right now, when Nikola Jokic versus Embiid, they played, Embiid dropped, I think, 47 on him. So I got Embiid as my first reserve. Once again, he got snubbed this year as an all-star starter. I mean, you have 2 players on my team who are all-star stars that are hurt right now. They're not even playing.
Yeah, well,
so
you could swap Embiid in there for
KD
or Zion,
KD.
right?
Well, no, Zion's I could.
You do that, and then your
yeah.
front court's looking stronger.
Yeah, I would say so, but I got to stick with the fact that Embiid is technically a reserve.
Yeah.
Round number 6, your first pick is
DeMar DeRozan.
That's a pretty good pickup right there.
I love that picture with it. Looks like he's got bull horns coming out of his head. Yeah, he's a great player. I love him penetrating to the basket, and he can also shoot the 3. So I think he'll have a very good game.
Yeah, I looked at it right now. You actually thought that there was a chance he could be a starter. You wrote that down. I don't have the date for that show, but
I'm surprised the Knicks didn't try to go out and get him. Why they didn't try to go get him is beyond me. Right?
That's
he wound up in Detroit, right? Isn't that where he plays?
The Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. I'm sorry, the Bulls. I should,
Bullhorn. He went to the Spurs before that.
Yeah, that's right.
My pick would be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's had a pretty good year. He's averaging I could bring it up, but I think he's averaging about, I want to say near 30 points or over 30 points. He's averaging 30.8 points, about 6 assists and 5 rebounds a game. For a point guard, for a point guard of his caliber at such a young age at 24, extremely impressive. So I picked him up. Round 7, pick number 1 is
Bam Adebayo.
I'm surprised you got the Heat Celtics going on right now.
Yeah, I like Bam. I think he's a really motivated player. He tries hard. He's got a decent outside shot. Can drive to the hoop, dunk it. Yeah. My strategy here is with these big guys is to get down low and have the higher percentage shot and let the other guys rain those threes. The percentages are not going to be.
And hope they miss?
Yeah, and hope they miss. And hope the percentage is under 40%,
It may be.
Yeah, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be because the defense, there's not going to be any defense in this game.
Bam is averaging 21 and 10 this year. But don't expect Bam to drop any threes because he's averaging a total of 10% from 3 this year.
Yeah, but his intermediate shot's pretty good.
Yeah, no, he's shooting 54% this year, so it's actually a pretty good pickup. But apparently I love my guards because my pick is Damian Lillard. Dame time. It's Dame time. Recently he's been on an absolute tear, averaging 42 points a game. Since I believe it was Pat Beverly, I think, who mocked his Dame time motion. So right now Damian Lillard's on a tear. So he's my round 7 number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Let's go into round 8. Your first pick for round 8 is
Jaylen Brown.
Celtics. That makes sense.
Yeah, he can shoot the 3.
Yeah.
And he's on the team that I love, so I picked him.
I think I could have actually gotten him much earlier than that. He's averaging 27 and 7, so it's very, very impressive. But my round 8 is someone who I made sort of an argument for, who's quietly dropping 20 and 10, and that's Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, there's a chance he could have been a starter. It's very, very difficult, though, to top players like Curry and Luka.
Doesn't have the name recognition yet.
Right. And that's the thing. It was 50% fan vote, and so you got to be popular to make that. I mean, all these players are, uber popular. So there you go. Tyrese Halliburton, round 8, pick number 2. Let's move to round 9. Pick numero uno for you is
Jaren Jackson.
Great defensive player.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there's going to be much defense, but maybe he'll play a little bit.
There's a rumor going out that they're boosting his blocks because he's averaging 3.3 blocks a game this year. So there's a little bit of a conspiracy going around about him. He's 23 years old, averaging 3 blocks a game, about 16 and a half points a game, almost 7 rebounds. Great defensive player, but like you said, I don't think there's much defense going on in this. Here's the thing with these All-Star games. They used to be like respectable games about representing your conference. Now it's just, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not more of a fan service than anything else.
They shaking hands and high-fiving each other from the other team out there. It's just having fun.
Yeah. So, I mean...
which I guess is okay, but to me, I would like to see them, East against West.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I just hope the NBA All-Star game...
This isn't even East against West now. They're all set up. It's more LeBron against Giannis.
It's sort of like backyard basketball.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. But I just hope the NBA All-Star game doesn't go to the level of the NFL Pro Bowl, because at that point they weren't even playing.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that won't happen here.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because that was, you talk about embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
I mean, driving the lane in the All-Star game, there won't be anybody there to block it. You can dunk it, probably.
Yeah. Let's continue, though. My round 9 from the great state of New York, I got Julius Randle. I like Julius Randle. He's a little bit more consistent this year, which is what a lot of my friends that are Knicks fans were hoping for, a little bit more consistency from Julius Randle, and he's been given that, and he deserves this all. I mean, you could honestly, I was gonna say you can make an argument for him being a starter, but I'm not too sure about that. But he's having one hell of a year, so I got Julius Randle in my round 9 pick. Let's move into round 10. Pick number 1 is
Paul George.
It's a decent pickup.
Yeah, again, he's got the muscle, and he's got a good outside shot. So
yeah,
he's having a good year. And he's had many good years. Been on the All-Star team a number of times, so
he's averaging
knows what he's doing.
23, 6, and 1. He's shooting almost 40% from 3, which is very, very impressive. But my next pick is Lauri Markkanen. I hope I get his name right, for the Utah Jazz. He's been a surprising player. He got traded I believe, in that Donovan Mitchell trade. And, I mean, I thought the Jazz were just going for, because they got rid of Rudy Gobert. Then they got rid of Spider. Or Spida, I guess you would say. And I thought they were going to be tanking, but the Jazz are actually not. They're a respectable team right now. They're right now 10th, so they're still in the play-in tournament. But Markkanen was a part of that trade. He made an All-Star team on a team that I thought was going to be tanking this year. So quite impressive. And in the last round of our All-Star draft,
I can't believe John Morant is still available, but I got him.
Yeah. I guess the reason why is because I put him near the end of our picks. So, I don't know. I'll let this one slide. It's a really good pickup for you, though.
Yeah.
Really, really good pickup. And I finish it out with Drew Holiday to round out my all-star team. I don't know. I think if we're taking a look at this, if we break it down, I think my team's better than yours.
You do?
I think so.
I don't know. I think that they got a lot of good players. I just think it's the players that are hot on Sunday that are going to make the difference. And all these guys can make a big difference in a game. They're all great players. So it will be fun to watch. And it will be interesting to see what the picks are for Giannis and LeBron, the actual picks, right? And how different their teams will look from ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron, take notes. This is the team you want to go for. Don't take Giannis's team. No. Bad team. I think I got you beat here. I do think I got you beat here. Do we have any more? Yeah, and then we're just back to the All-Stars. It's a pretty good All-Star player pool this year. I think there were a couple snubs. James Harden, I think, got snubbed. I think if you have Zion up here, I think technically then Anthony Davis got snubbed too. Because Anthony Davis
has been hurt.
I think
but so is Zion.
But I think the crazy part about it is while Anthony Davis has been hurt, I think he still has, only 12 less minutes than, Jaren Jackson. Think about that. He got hurt. He's played, 30 games out of the 40-something or maybe.
Yeah.
And he's played almost as much as Jaren Jackson, and he's in the All-Star game. So he was another snub, and I'm sure there are a couple others that I can't think off the top of my head that are snubs. But there's a few players here that I'm like, really? But, I think all in all, I think it's a pretty decent All-Star team. Actually, it's a pretty good All-Star roster. But I do think that wraps up the Harvey Hour. It was a good comeback for us. A nice comeback Harvey Hour after that, monstrosity of last night. Horrible, 25 mile per hour winds.
Yeah.
Knocked out internet. Came back about, 30 minutes before the show. So I'm happy we were at least able to do the show. It was actually a pretty long show. We got about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. But we appreciate everyone watching. We appreciate all the support we've had. Thank you for everyone who tuned into today's stream. Sorry it was not on a Friday, but we will see you Monday. A quick turnaround. A very, very quick turnaround. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you guys Monday, if the weather permits it, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Good luck, Tom Brady.
Yeah,
in your future.
It's going to be a hell of the NFL season is going to be weird not seeing him.
Not out
23
there.
years with Brady, and all of a sudden he's not going to be here.
End of an era.
It's absolutely. Oh, and also, I meant to say this. There's two things we can close out now because of Tom Brady retiring. The 2000 draft and the last player, active athlete, who was a part of the Montreal Expos. He got drafted by the Expos as a catcher. He was the last active athlete
really?
to be affiliated with the Expos. The Expos are now officially dead. Brady got drafted by them, I think, in a very, very late round as a catcher. Of course, he just shows football over baseball, but
wise move.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, another two chapters in sports history are closed now. 2000 draft and the Montreal Expos are now officially dead. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.